Good afternoon, students, and welcome to the Raiders Athletic Department preseason meeting, where we'll identify our student athlete code of conduct policy. Now, before we begin, I just want to draw your attention to the handout that you've received, which is an excerpt from our student athlete code of conduct handbook. This is also available online on our website for you and your parents to view at a later time. To start off our presentation today, we will highlight the roles and responsibilities of the athletic department, as well as our function within the school community. Now, just as we hold our staff, coaches, and trainers to the highest possible standards, we expect the same from our student athletes. By participating within ISB Raiders Athletics, you are in effect a representative of our athletic department and school, and should conduct yourself accordingly. The student expectations we will identify in this presentation will include disciplinary issues, student athlete eligibility, bullying and hazing, in addition to the two main pillars of our program, which is sportsmanship and citizenship. Now, to round off the expectations of our student athletes, we'll also discuss our uniform policies. Next, we will divulge into our newly adopted social media policy. The aim of this policy is to help student athletes navigate through the many pitfalls of social media misuse and identify proactive strategies to ensure that you are maintaining a positive image for yourselves, your team, and your school. Now, we'll also identify many ways the athletic department can help support you in refraining from engaging in any behavioral misconduct, also maintaining your eligibility requirements, and ultimately being the best you can be. We'll round off the presentation by reviewing our student code of conduct acknowledgement form, which needs to be read and signed by both you and your parent or guardian before you are eligible to participate in any of our programs. Before we begin with the principles that guide our athletic program, I just want to establish early on that this athletic department is here to serve the student athletes and the school community as a whole. Now, whether you're new to athletics and you're just learning a sport for the first time, or you're a multi-sport varsity athlete, our goal is to provide you with the opportunity to participate, as well as provide you with the right tools to help you excel in this area of your education through effective coaching and a balanced curriculum. The Raiders Athletic Department's main function is to serve our student athletes as well as the school community. As you're aware, one of the three pillars of our school's mission is inclusion, which is also extended to our athletic department. Our duty is to provide a safe and inclusive environment where all students are able to participate in athletic activities and develop their skill sets through coaching and playing opportunity. The second pillar focuses on challenging our students in all aspects of their school career, whether it be academics, arts, or athletics. In order to get the best out of our student athletes, we challenge them to exceed their expectations through quality coaching and guidance. The final pillar of our school mission is success. Now, while we understand that all students have different limits and expectations, we strive to inspire a culture of success through establishing personal goals and character building. Next, we will discuss the expectations of our student athletes, which align with the policies of our program as well as the school. Next, we will discuss the expectations of our student athletes, which align with the policies of our program as well as the school. Discipline is one of the character building aspects of athletic involvement. ISB athletes are expected to follow the same rules and expectations set by the International School of Brussels for all students. As student athletes representing the athletic department and the school, you have added expectations from coaches and other members of the school community. Please be mindful that coaches are free to set their own expectations and rules as long as they meet or exceed the level outlined in our athletics code. With that in mind, coaches are also required to outline these expectations at their preseason coaches meeting with the student athletes and their parents. Now, regarding the use of tobacco, drugs, and alcohol, the Raiders Athletic Department has adopted a zero-tolerance approach for these infractions. Any student athletes found to be using or in possession of the aforementioned substances shall be removed from the program with immediate effect. Depending on the severity of the incident, the student athlete may face further disciplinary action from the school. Theft or vandalism of school or personal property will not be tolerated. Any student found guilty of theft or vandalism of either school property or personal property of a school community member will be immediately removed from the program and may also receive further disciplinary actions from the school, depending on the nature and the severity of the offence. Inappropriate behaviour is considered a behaviour or action that is not within the bounds of what's considered appropriate or socially acceptable within our school community. These types of infractions will be handled on a case-by-case basis, depending on the severity of the incident, and disciplinary action will be determined by the athletic director or administrator. ISB encourages all students to participate in a wide array of after-school activities on offer within the school community. Now, while participation in such activities often supplements the student's academic performance, in other circumstances, a student may encounter difficulty maintaining a good academic record while participating in a demanding after-school activity, such as athletics. Now, while the participation in the activity in question may not be the primary root of the problem, it has to be considered that by participating in such an activity would be taking away valuable time that you could be putting towards your academics. So therefore, this policy is designed for those few students whose academic and after-school demands may not be compatible. Now, under our guidelines, students must maintain a 65.0 GPA in all of their international baccalaureate courses and a 70.0 GPA in all general courses. Students who are having academic difficulties will be identified by their teacher and school principal or assistant principal, which will then be reported to the athletic director and the head coach of their team. Depending on the severity, the student may be required to attend study hall during practice times until this problem is rectified. Now, as personal integrity and honesty are cornerstones of having a good character, the ISB Raiders Athletic Department maintains a tough stance on academic dishonesty, such as plagiarism and cheating on tests and exams. Students that are found guilty in engaging in academic dishonesty shall be suspended or removed from the program, depending on the severity of the offence. In terms of playing eligibility, a basic expectation is that all athletes must attend all classes the day before an away trip in which they will be absent from school hours. If a student athlete does not attend all classes the day before a trip, they are not permitted to travel the next day. All student athletes must attend all classes the day of a game or until the designated time of departure in the case of an away game. An athlete absent from school on the day of a game is not eligible to participate in any competition. Cases like the ones outlined above will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Athletes suspended from school may also not participate in practices or competitions until they are reinstated. Now, in an effort to support students and ensure that they are successfully meeting our eligibility requirements, coaches and teachers will be proactively collaborating to ensure that all aspects of our policy is being met. Just for reference, study hall, for those who need more time with their academics, is available to all students from 7 o'clock till 8:15 in the morning, Monday to Friday, and 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock after school, Monday to Thursday. The International School of Brussels prides itself on being an accepting and inclusive community. Therefore, the athletic department strives to achieve the same type of acceptance. The athletic department's number one priority is to provide a safe learning environment for our student athletes. Therefore, it's adopted a zero tolerance stance on any types of bullying or hazing of a student athlete or community member. Any such instances should be reported immediately to the coach or an athletic director. After a thorough investigation by the athletic director and other administrators if necessary, a course of action shall be taken. Student athletes who are found to be committing such offences will be removed directly from the programme and may face additional disciplinary actions from the school if deemed appropriate. Now, what the athletic department can do to support this initiative, I think, first and foremost, identifying the segment within the presentation is the first step in establishing transparency of what bullying is and what hazing is, as well as making it known to all students that it will not be accepted. Coaches, athletic staff, as well as teachers and school counsellors are also available to all students who wish to report or discuss such an incident. Positive sportsmanship is an important component of the Raiders Athletic Department philosophy, whether it be through the student athletes, the coaches, or the parents. Now, while the Raiders Athletic Department takes great pride in winning and success, it does not condone winning at all costs mentality. Now, ISB strongly discourages any and all types of pressure which may lead to the lack of good sportsmanship. These expectations apply to all members of the ISB community, including the parents and coaches. Now, while all members of the community are encouraged to attend games and cheer on the Raiders, the expectation is that the support will be positive and motivating for all student athletes and should not be at the expense of the other team or officials. Another major component of the Raiders athletic philosophy is citizenship. And we aim to develop student athletes into well-rounded global citizens that can positively contribute to the school community through their strong character. Now, with this in mind, student athletes should always conduct themselves in a respectful and appropriate manner during all school events, games, and tournaments, as well as beyond the confines of their school community. In order to ensure that we're doing our part in helping build such character, the Raiders Athletic Department is committed to employing coaches that are able to set a positive example not only in the playing field, but in life. Now, the final aspect of our expectations is our uniform policy. In terms of uniform distribution, that will happen once the final rosters have been established. And each team's head coach, they will coordinate a designated uniform distribution time, which will take place in the uniform room 1 week prior to the season commencing. Now, students who have not yet submitted their code of conduct acknowledgement form, they will not be issued a uniform or travel suit until that's completed. In terms of uniform use, student athletes are only permitted to wear uniforms that are provided by the athletic department during games. Now, this includes jerseys, shorts, socks, and travel tracksuits. If a player is wearing any type of base layer, such as a dry fit or Under Armour thermal, these items must be the same as the ISB school colors, which are red, white, and blue. This same expectation applies to all types of sleeves, gloves, and wristbands. In terms of uniform return, all students at the end of the season, the head coach will set up a time for student athletes to return their uniforms. Now, all uniforms must be returned clean and complete. A charge of €50 per item will be applied for any missing or damaged uniform items. In addition, students will not be eligible for the following sports season if this fee is not paid. Next, we're going to discuss the issue of social media and how student athletes can use social media platforms in a positive way in order to engage with the school community as well as enhance their overall athletic experience within ISB. First and foremost, I would like to reiterate that the social media policy embedded in our student athlete code of conduct is to serve as a proactive measure to ensure that our student athletes are using social media in a positive and responsible manner, and it's not to discourage students from using it. In fact, the Raiders Athletic Department strongly encourages students to use social media as we think it provides students with numerous platforms to communicate, to network, and ultimately serve as a positive supplement to their educational experience. Now, that being said, it's also important that we educate our students on how to use these platforms responsibly to ensure that they're not engaging in any behavior that would possibly hinder their educational or professional opportunities in the future. Now, as most of you here are active users of social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, among many others, I would like for you to take a moment and reflect on the content that you share. Now, are you comfortable with the world seeing this content? Does this content accurately depict how you want to be perceived by your school and your community? And I also want you to think about potential employers or recruiters in the future. If they visited your social media profiles, are the images and videos you share, along with the language you post, does that reflect the person that you are or that you want to be perceived as? Now, we've all heard countless stories of lost scholarships and destroyed athletic careers caused by misuse of social media, whether it be language or political views. Um, I just would like everyone here to please be proactive in making sure that your social media profiles they're free from content that's outlined in our social media policy. I would like you to do this rather than rely on privacy settings, as these are not always concrete and 100%. Now, I'd also like to remind you that while freedom of speech is a cornerstone of our society, I would advise you all to consider that freedom is not unlimited and it's not without consequences. Now, while you're entitled to voice your own opinion on religion or politics or other social issues, I would like you to please consider your audience and the platform, while also being mindful that your actions may lead to certain ramifications, which could include suspensions or removal from our program, uh, rejection from college applications, or it could be a hindrance on your athletic recruitment opportunities. So now that we've reviewed the specifics of each policy within our student athlete code of conduct, I would now like to take the opportunity to show everyone what success looks like both on the playing field and off. Now, first and foremost, I would like to reiterate that the student athletes are and always will be students first. Academics are of the utmost priority in both grade point average and your attendance. A student that is successfully following the Student Athlete Code of Conduct is one that is meeting or exceeding GPA requirements and has no unexcused absences from the respective classes. They will also maintain a strong chain of communication with their teachers and advisors over missed classes, assignments, and tests due to their athletic commitments. In addition, a good indication that a student athlete is successfully meeting the Raiders Athletic Department Code of Conduct is that they are a positive contributor to their school community, which I believe is reflected through their actions. Now, as I previously mentioned, while the athletic department strives to produce players and teams that are successful on the playing field, our success isn't defined by medals or victories. In fact, we value how athletes actually win and how they carry themselves in victory and defeat as our true measure of success. And I think this can be achieved through positive sportsmanship, positive attitude, as well as respect towards opponents, coaches, and officials during games. I think it's also important to remember that when you put on the Raiders uniform, you're essentially a representative of the athletic department and the school, and you should act accordingly. As we come to the end of our presentation on the Raiders Athletic Department Student Code of Conduct, I would like to turn everyone's attention to the Code of Conduct Acknowledgement Form. This was handed out to you at the beginning of the presentation. Now, this form highlights the specifics of our student agreement of the rules and expectations of our athletic program. In order to participate and receive your uniform this season, you must return this form signed by both you and your parents, which indicates that you fully understand the terms and conditions of participation within the Raiders Athletic program. Now, for further reference, this policy is also available to students, parents, and community members digitally through our athletic department website. I would like to conclude this information session by providing everyone with an opportunity to clarify any questions or concerns they may have regarding our Student Athlete Code of Conduct.